It looks like that worked. I think it worked. Checking there, checking there. Yeah, I think we're good. It's time once again for Workshop Wednesday. And yeah, I love this. I always enjoy making stuff. And today we're going to make some stuff. I've got a bunch of materials here. And we're going to do something simple, but I haven't tried it before. It's actually something for sewing, particularly because it has to do with pins. Although you can do other things with it, I suppose. But this is going to be a pin cushion made out of a small mason jar. Although you could use a larger mason jar. But the idea is you could store your pin cushions in a mason jar. I'm sorry, you could store your pins in a mason jar. Or I suppose you could also put pin cushions in there. But then you can put a pin cushion on top of a mason jar, right? This is a perfectly reasonable surface for that. Or you can do both. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a pin cushion on the top of this and store the rest of the pins inside the mason jar. That's the idea. Let's see what happens. So I found these instructions online, which I'm modifying slightly, but I definitely like the idea. So we're going to start by unscrewing the mason jar. There we go, into its component pieces. And then I'm going to trace the lid onto, actually I want to do some cardstock. And I have some index cards right here as it happens. I'm just going to pull one out, because I always carry index cards with me as it happens. So we're going to use that as the base. So basically, this will go down here, and the pin cushion will be up on this part right here. So we're going to cut that out. Fortunately, this happens to be, and you know what I'm going to do? I think it's just going to be easier if I just do it this way. I'm just going to hold that on the card and then cut around. I don't really need to, you know, trace around and then cut the trace, because I'm fairly confident that I can hold this in position. It's a pretty easy craft so far, I gotta admit. And then I will have my piece of card that will go on the bottom there. There we go. There's our card. And now we're going to what? Yeah. So now we need some fabric that's going to sort of puff up and make our cushion. So I'm going to cut out some of this fabric. This is kind of random fabric I have laying around. And I'm just going to use some of this. We need a couple of inches beyond on all sides of that. I think the example here has actually a little less than that. So we're going to go about there, I think, on it. Don't need to be precise here, I don't think. And of course, you could use different colors, kind of whatever you wanted on this. I'm just going to go, and it could be, doesn't have to be square either. It could be circular just as easily. Okay. We can move this out of the way. Now, traditionally, you'll have bunting, I believe they call it. Batting, excuse me. Batting, bunting, it's all baseball. Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate that. This is not an anime review. This is making stuff, which is still fun. So instead of batting, I'm just going to use a bit of an old rag. It's actually an old t-shirt. And cut off a chunk of that and use that for the inside of my thing. And actually, this is going to squish up quite a bit. Let me get to the bottom of this. It's actually an old Otaku no Video shirt. So that's kind of funny. So let me grab some of that. So I need a large hunk of this, because this is going to have to, you know, do like this. Yep, recycling is always good. So there we go. There's about as much as I want to use. So I'm just going to do this. You know, just, that seems about right. I don't know if I can actually cut through this with this. Not easily. Like it is cutting through it to an extent. Yeah, I think I'll get there. Okay, I can always cut off more, but that seems like a lot actually. Probably too much, which is fine. I can always cut some more off. So let's cut off. So there's some of that. So let's cut off this hunk. Okay. And then this will get pushed. Yeah, I think that's about right. Could always do it again. So now we're going to, oh wait, okay, yeah. So basically, there's the top of my thing. There's the bunting. And so that's going to go like this. Yeah. And then we're going to put this little cardstock here. If that makes any sense at all. So here's the top of my my thing, my pincushion. And I'm going to push that through. Push that down here so it's all nice and tight. And then I think the next thing, fabric, then you're batting the base of the lid. Yeah, just the fabric is not pulling or gathering as much as possible. Trim and hot glue it all down. Okay, so basically now I want to tuck this in as much as I can. Oh, wait, lid? Hold on. Lid, I'm actually going to use the lid itself. Yeah, that makes sense. So with the lid, you can really press it in. Press it in. And then tuck in any particular, it's a somewhat sleek fabric. Okay, there we are. So I'm trying to figure out, like, do I want to go all the way in with this? Is that the idea? Well, of course it is. Okay, so realization. This needs to go all the way in because this basically needs to go like that, right? Because then you can't really screw this down. Although I don't know, right? Because we're going to do this. Okay, this is making sense. Yeah, that is the problem, Kenny. You gotta clean things off. Yeah, this is my first time trying this. This is gonna have to go in because then I'm gonna glue this all down like that, basically, and then this will screw in to the mason jar. So I need to make sure that is not absurdly huge, which it is. So let me cut out a few bit more, whatever. Let's try that much. Okay, and then we'll try to sort of ball it up in a way that's kind of ball-like, right? Okay, so that's there, and then the fabric goes over it. That makes sense. And then we cram it in all the way around. There we are. Okay, so the lid has to go all the way in, all the way around. All right, so there we go. So there's our pincushion. I'm going to try to tuck in. Can I pull in? Not really. That's about as good as we're going to get. Okay. So we have our pincushion on this side, and there's this on this side. So now what we need to do is trim it, and then we're going to hot glue it. Take it back out. And glue. Okay, yeah. We're going to trim this off, hot glue it down, and then we're going to take this paper circle and glue it on top of that just for extra sort of support. So I'm going to just trim off hunks of this fabric. There's a hunk. There's another hunk. There's another hunk. And there's a final hunk. That can be enough. Yeah, that seems about right. Now we turn on the hot glue gun. It's plugged in. Need to wait a little while for that to heat up. Probably should have started that a few minutes ago, but that's okay. So we're going to just hot glue this down to the lid. So just, put hot glue down there and press it in, press it in, press it in. Hopefully this is going to work because there's just an awful lot of fabric there to go down. Although it looks like, so she wants to pull it back out. So you hot glue it down, then you take it back out after you've done that, which is going to be, I guess, doable. Have to kind of squeeze. and then you put the cardstock on, and you put it back in. Oh, okay. Put some glue around the inside of the rim, then put your pincushion back through. Okay. I think that makes sense. So, let's try this. So waiting for this to heat up. Obviously, you don't want to. Oh, you got some hot glue there. Cool. So let me put some hot glue down. Yep, we got some hot glue. I'm going to start just laying this down on the bottom, and then just pressing the fabric onto that. And I'm going to see if I can't kind of continue to do that with the various layers of the fabric. Just kind of get hot glue on them and then press them down. Gotta be careful here because it is, hot glue. And it's like you can press down on something that's awfully hot. But that's just getting some hot glue there. Oh, yep, I'm getting messy. It's getting messy in here. Okay. Actually, let me just press that. Actually, you know what? Right now, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Let's just put some hot glue on this all over the place. I'm just laying down all sorts of hot glue, and I'm going to try to press this card in place. I don't know if this is wise or reasonable or whatever, but it's what I'm doing right now. I'm just pressing this down. To hopefully hold that in place. So we're just pressing that hot glue onto the cardstock, again in the hopes that that will work, and kind of holding that as the hot glue cools down rather, and hopefully it will kind of solidify. Got a few little fuzzies there. Okay, it's not really holding down too well. It's stuck to large pieces. All right, so I think this is kind of it. Let's see what happens. So ideally, we should be able to do this and slide this on, but no, we can't. That's not working because there's just too much fabric in the way. Okay, so this is kind of a failure. That's okay. We can probably figure out something to do here. It's kind of coming on. Nope. All right, where's the first? How do we? Feels like we should be able to grab it somewhere here. If not, this is kind of disappointing. So what did I do wrong here? I feel like basically, so they wanted me to pop this out, glue that to it, and I could pop it back in. Well, possibly. Yeah, there's just too much fabric in the edges. So I should have peeled the fabric back. Yeah, I should have had the fabric. Okay. Duly noted. Fabric isn't really close enough. Seems to be going so well. So this has a single ridge there, which would catch, trying to find where the opening is. There it is. So this needs to catch there, but it doesn't. No, it just comes right back out. Why? Why doesn't it? Is there any other? Oh, okay, okay. Nope, it goes part way in and then pops right back out. So there, let's see here, where is it? Where are you? There it is, okay. Okay, yeah. I can press it part of the way, but then it just deforms out. That's disappointing. And I certainly have plenty of things to do this again, if I need to. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, 1 second. Thankfully, this is not my only lid here. Can I reuse any of this? Yeah, I guess technically I can... Yeah. In fact, technically, I can salvage some of it. I can cut into this. Not sure if it's going to be worth it. These scissors are a little dull. No, it's a rag. That's the reason I have a rag is to have a rag. Okay, so here's a new lid. Gotta be careful because that thing's still hot. So, thinking again. So going back to where we were before, let's grab some more fabric. You know we need a fair amount. So we'll grab that. Oops, you can't see that, sorry. So here's just I'm gonna cut out some more fabric for the middle. Oh, that's not. No, actually, let's try that much. Okay. So here's our middle chunk. Okay, that feels more reasonable. Now we need another piece. Let's move this to one side so we don't burn ourselves. At the moment, we'll burn ourselves later. So now we need to cut some more of this fabric for that top. And again, I'm fairly confident I can just get a decent amount. Got to trim quite a bit off, so I'm being a little more conservative here. Right. So then, again, our concept is, let's try to get this fairly spherical. This is here. Fabric goes over that. And then we're going to use this to make sure we get the fabric pushed all the way through, which is not happening. So hold on. Okay. All right. Feel like we're almost there. Okay. So that's pushed all the way through. Now what we have to do is glue this down very close. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue down like one flap. I'm going to glue that down. And then I'm going to trim a bunch of fabric off, hopefully. Because this needs to be, okay, yeah. So let's trim off a bunch more of this fabric. Because we definitely need minimal fabric in here. Like not none, because we need something to glue onto. But the more we have, the harder it's going to be to glue this down. Okay. It's starting to make sense. Let's put some glue down here. And then again, stretching this in as much as possible. So trying to get this nice and flat. Okay. And then same idea here. Oops, ow, ow, ow. That's hot. not in a good sense. Sort of seep through. All right, and then there's a lot of fabric there. I'm gonna be pretty strong here. Cut that out. Okay, and then let's do a bunch of glue in here and try to push that down. Again, pulling to the center, making it nice and taut as much as possible. And might see if I can stick some of the rest of this down. There's a bit more here that I would like to get more taut, so I'm gonna put some glue in there and then pull that taut. Yeah, I feel like this is working. This is getting where I need it to go. And the same idea here. Just put a glob of hot glue and kind of pull that taut. So hopefully this will leave enough on the inside that I can still screw it down. Let's find out. And screw it to, oh jeez. That's surprising. Am I doing it the wrong way? Should I bend it somehow? Just refuses to stay on. That's a much better position. I mean, that kind of works, but I don't think it's right. That's definitely where the ridge begins. That's definitely where that begins. Okay, so we can get a good chunk of the way down. It's a little lopsided, but that works. And then she suggests we're trimming off a bit more of the fat. Gluing a card to there. Do I have enough left of this? Nope. One more card gets sacrificed. I think I can afford that. I can pull out this card. Doesn't want to go, it seems. There we are. Unfortunately, this time I don't have a quite as easy of a time with that. Oh, the another glue stick here. But I can, like, I know what I need. It's gonna have to be a little inside that. Fairly confident I can eyeball this. Might be wrong. I was wrong. But that's, ow. Burned myself. Said I would. Okay, but I do like the idea of gluing that down either way. So yeah, let's do that. So we're just going to throw glue down all over the place here. Oops, and that's the end of that stick until I put another one. But I think that's a good amount. And we're just going to push that down and burn ourselves nicely. There we are. Use a bit of insulation. And that's just going to keep stray pieces of fabric from falling down. Okay. So I'm quite surprised that didn't want to... See, there's a bit of stray bit of fabric. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like we can get it much of the way down, but not too far before it catches. But that's fine. Again, I can live with that. I am surprised though, because I really pulled that quite a ways away. We tried on the other one too, right? There's that. we get the, it starts there. You slide it down. Goes part of the way. Yeah, okay. May have damaged this ring a little bit. Wonder if I could use this one. I mean, I could. Let's try that. Just see what happens. Because this should be all, yeah, I mean, it's not glued down. Pop it into the other one. I mean, it is significant, but... Oh, that's much better. Okay, yeah, this is just a slightly bent ring. Good, okay. That makes me happy. All right, so I think we're good. So now what we're going to do is take our pins. We'll grab a couple and pincushion them. That's a very thick material compared to batting. You really have to jam it down in there. It's good to know. But it's nice to have something that will do what I need. Oh, it's kind of running around. But that's, you know, that's because it's not on the top. So let's just get a couple of these in here. Because, you know, it's a pincushion. Should have pins, right? That is kind of the idea. Somewhat lopsided pincushion, but it's okay. I can live with it. You need a couple of pins in your pincushion because you'll, you know, any given project, you're probably going to pull out, you know, half a dozen to a dozen. So it's good to have some in waiting. No idea if using the rag was a good idea, but oh well. And the rest of them go inside. So there's our receptacle for our pins, and there's the top. And hopefully I can get this down. There we go. So there is a jar of pins with a pincushion on top, all handy dandy, all ready for your use. And it's pretty useful. I kind of like that. So that's how to make a pincushion out of a mason jar with just a hot glue gun, some scissors, some scrap fabric, a bit of cards, and of course, some pins. That's it. Easy enough. Thanks for joining me. See you next time on Workshop Wednesday. Until next time, make something.